You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Google signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Gianlutis, and guys, as you can see, we have a very, very special guest in store for you right here, right now. And guys, I gotta tell you, before we even put the camera on, I talked to our guest for the last hour, and we went into so many different topics on mindset, on success, on just tips to truly help people. And guys, to tell you this, he is one of the most driven entrepreneurs that I have met in a long time, and the beauty of that is that he's young. And with the tips that he brings to the table, I have no doubt in my mind that you're about to take something from this that you can run with, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're just someone trying to find that driving factor in life, or whatever it means for you. Guys, I give you our guest, Vasilis Axios.
Vasily, that made me blush, man. I'm so happy to be here, actually.
No, I'm happy to have you, man. I thank you so much for giving the time for the show. And, you know, I mentioned in that intro, you're a young guy.
Yep.
But just talking to you for the last hour and all the topics we went over, you're so driven. So you're 22.
Yep, 22.
Right? But your story started years ago when you started just out as a door-to-door salesman at 17. And I want to give people more background on your story, but guys, I want you to take that. He came out the gate at 17 and just tried to make something happen. And then now at 22, he has so much success. But in being a door-to-door salesman, that's hurdle after hurdle.
Yep.
So tell us about your story. Tell us how all this started that we're going to dive in and help people with right now.
So in that hour conversation, we actually didn't backtrack to that, one of the most important pieces of it all.
Yep.
So coming from an immigrant family, my father's from Greece. We've spoken about that a little bit.
Yep.
He came to this country in the 70s or 80s, whatever it may be, created a business through 15, 20 years of hard work.
Okay.
And once we were, even at a young age, from the age of like 5 to 15, 16 years old, we all worked in these restaurants. That being said, we're talking about 3 p.m. after school all the way to midnight. And that's when we'd have our dinner, midnight to 1 p.m. probably, to 1 a.m.
Yep.
So we're going to sleep at the age of like 6, 7 years old at 1 a.m.
Right.
This created such a work ethic for us where it's a tough environment. You're dealing with customers that aren't always happy, customers that are happy, but also the long hours and like the high intensity. Have you worked in a restaurant before?
I have not, but my entire family. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I find it to be the people who work at restaurants are always the best salespeople.
Yeah. I get
and coming from this, you think I would be such like an extrovert. Like even nowadays, even on this with you, I can tell people like it's still nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah.
No matter what.
I get that.
So coming from there, the initial feeling after, I was still introverted. I went through high school. I wasn't like that outgoing person. I didn't want to talk in front of the class. I would stutter like crazy. My face would be beet red.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to make a change, right? So at the age of 17 years old, I made the change, getting to door knocking, finding sales, scrolling through Instagram like that conversation we had before.
Yep.
And that first door, if anyone here has knocked a door before, you feel like you're actually having a heart attack.
I get that.
The first door. The first door, it's going like 100 beats per second. Literally crazy.
Right.
But through time, you just create this almost facade of who you want to be. Yeah. That extroverted personality. Yeah. And you take that skin off or that shell of the introverted you and you throw it off the side. It's powerful.
It is.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. I love too how you bring culture up as a factor. And we talked about culture and everything, but and I understand the Greek culture because I'm Greek as well, but that mentality, that work ethic, that hard work that started rolling the ball for you, started the momentum from such a young age. And I want to give this to the viewers right now. Vasily has created so much success on a sales front, but now he's found success in the real estate game. So he has had this driving force from a young age, and yes, there are hurdles in between, life experiences in between and whatnot. But tell us right now where, say someone's watching and they're trying to really capture who is Vasily right now? What would you say that person right now?
I would say that's an amazing question. Who would I be? What would someone see me as?
Who are you to yourself? Because one thing that in talking to you, you're very self-driven in the sense of, like, if you're a door-to-door salesman, yes, you're doing it for a monetary value, but you're doing it for yourself. As you even just described to us, you had to kind of step out of that introvert and become the extrovert. So that's a self-growth piece in itself. And so anyone watching right now, you don't have to be a door-to-door salesman. You don't have to be into real estate. You don't have to be into success for whatever it might be. But when you realize that whatever you're pursuing is improving some aspect of yourself, and you can hone in on it. And just after talking to him for so long, that is what you've done. Because, you know, we can explain what we talked about earlier, but you have such a goal in mind where it's, I'm not doing the sales for money.
No.
I'm doing it to grow myself in some way. And that pursuit literally has brought in money, but it's brought in so many different experiences.
You know what it is, Billy, and this is what I was thinking about as you're talking. I have a lot of conversations with this, you know, speaking to other entrepreneurs, and kind of what we're going back and forth about is think about like a character, or think of like a, I don't know what you want to say, like almost like a toy, right?
Okay.
Let's say a Chad. Everyone knows Chad.
Okay.
The guy's he's ripped, he's good looking, and you're not him at the time, right? That's not you, but you want to be a little bit like that.
I get you.
When I think of my original self, or what I found to be original self, I didn't think that was my true self. Every day we're working and we're doing what we're doing. I think we're actually like building our own character. What we're born as, or who we are growing up in our early ages, maybe 1 to 16 years old. That's not us. Who we are is at the end of the road. And now every day, what I do, what people around me do, and I really focus on it, is build your character. What do you want to be? You want to be jacked? Okay, just go work out. You want to be good at cold calling? Go make phone calls. You don't have to be what you're born to be. That's a big thing for me.
I love
That's how I look at myself. It's like I can be like a chameleon. You put me in an environment where the people are so different than me, I'll learn to be like you. If you put me in an environment where everyone's the same, I'm going to be different because I want to be different. So it's just build that character. That's my biggest thing.
So is in building that character, is that the secret that has kind of helped you push through barriers? Because as I mentioned, and I'll say it again, you're 22 years old, but you have found so much success in entrepreneurship and real estate and sales and drive. So what's the secret to you to make sure age is not the barrier to your success?
Well, so age, it's a great question. So age for me, it was always an issue. I remember people saying like, oh, how are you going to do this? You're only 17 years old. I was, I think, 16 actually when I started. You're only 16, you're only 17 years old. You don't even have one hair on your face. And I'm like, that's kind of true. You're making me start to believe it. How is someone going to believe me? Then I figured people don't care about your age as long as you can actually sell them on the fact you know what you're talking about. So number one is know enough about the product or the thing you're trying to sell. No one cares, right? No one cares at that point. Number two, and this is the biggest thing, is if you're in sales specifically, or any type of product or whatever it may be, you have your own brand, you have your people you're trying to sell to every day or whatever it may be. The more people you reach out to, the more opportunity there is for success.
100%.
So take a common route. Literally, the more phone calls I make, the more people I reach out to, the more likelihood I'm going to get someone who's just going to buy from me. Some people are going to care about your age. People are going to care about what you're wearing. Some people watching this might not like the shirt or might not like that jacket. And that's fine. But there's going to be people who just don't care. And those are going to be people who are going to buy from you or going to work with you.
100%.
So initially, I thought it was a big issue. But I found going through life, people don't like a lot of things. So age being one of them, big deal.
Exactly. I love that. And that grows your confidence in such a way.
It does.
And I can agree with you on that front where, like you said, you started at 16, 17 years old. With me in speaking, it's pretty much when I started. And I just wanted the opportunity to do it. And so I understand where you're coming at, but something always came to mind with me because I was looked at coming out the gate as like, what's this kid know?
Different story. I like this.
Right? So I sit there and I'm like, what's this kid know? I step in front of, whether it's a client, whether it's an audience, whatever it is. And what drove me is, you know, and I told you my experiences. I worked with kids from 7 years old up to 21 years old in a therapy perspective. But I sat down, like, I could be talking to a 7-year-old kid, and they could teach me something that I didn't know. So the definition for me became, you are never too old to learn, and you are never too young to teach. And so for you right now, coming out the gate, I'm like, all right, if I, as you said, you have all of these people that you can call, all these people that might buy from you. Some might say no.
Yeah,
for sure. It is what it is. It's and that's a fact of life. Just whether it's sales, whether it's dating, whether it's choosing what you want to eat for dinner. You know, no will come. But when you realize that no is getting you closer to the confidence, not just a yes. It's a self-improvement piece, and that's what I love about you. Where it's no longer like, oh hey, like I made a sale.
It's not.
It's not. It's like, hey, am I the best one to get this done? And that, starting at 16, 17 years old to where you are now, you have your entire life ahead of you. But now that you learned it, you can
foundation.
Exactly.
And I really like that. It is the certainty, it's the confidence level.
Yep.
So like that is another piece of it. It's like if you are so confident, it's almost like an aura? Is this the correct term?
Right.
People can feel that, and they just look past the whole age thing.
Right.
It's a feeling. If you walk in, they ask you questions, and you're answering the questions left and right, and you're telling them this and you're telling them that. They're like, I don't care who this person is. I don't care the color of them. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care their shoes. I don't care their age.
Exactly.
At that point, it's just like you know enough. You're certain. You're confident. People will buy. People will work with you. That's a big thing.
I completely agree with that. And if you know, whether it's buying or what, if you know your product or if you know yourself, right? And that's what we mentioned with the aura, the energy you give off. And so you could be, as you said, introvert, whatever. But if you know yourself enough, you can walk into any situation and be the confident version of you. You don't have to be an extrovert, but if you're confident in who you are, everyone out there, if you know who you are and you walk in that mentality, the opportunities come to you. And then if you take action, proactive steps that he's taken to find that success, at 22 years old, he's found that success, and it's just growing step after step, call after call, whatever it looks like. So to give that to you guys right now, that's such a fact. Know who you are, but know who you're trying to become, as you mentioned. And so taking all that in, Vasily, is that a factor to this resilient mindset that you've created? Because you've developed a major resilient mindset.
It is a big factor, and I think it comes down to the confidence point you're talking about, or the certainty level. And how it can relate is the fact that the more difficult something sounds, the more pull it feels for me. Because I'm still searching, no matter what position you are in life, you hear about, these big speakers, these big entrepreneurs. A lot of them go through a phase in their life where they feel like, fraud syndrome. This is a big thing. So I kind of like it in a way where it's like, you feel like a fraud, so you're always striving for the next thing.
I get that.
Right?
Yeah.
So resiliency is like, okay, I need to keep on getting better. Things are going to come at me. And, just the more difficult something is, the harder you feel. What's the saying? Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, it's on the wall behind the camera.
Yeah,
pressure makes diamonds.
It makes diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's so important, I think, for everyone, if you're looking to become a certain person or a confident person, do those things that other people won't do.
Yeah.
The whole idea of me being an introvert and now an extrovert, I can tell you, for people, if they watch this who knew me growing up, I was like dead quiet, man. I would not raise my hand. I would not speak. I wouldn't do anything with that fear of potentially being, looked at as stupid or something, right? But I just kept on doing those uncomfortable things. A big tactic I used when I wanted to really, be extroverted and feel comfortable feel a little bit more comfortable was every person I walk by, I say, hey, how are you doing?
Awesome. Yeah.
In a mall, walking the street, because they're always looking down. So if you look at them straight in the eyes, say, how are you doing? I'm telling you, it makes them feel better, and you build confidence.
100%.
So that's what makes you resilient. I think you just need the confidence.
I love that. I love what you said too, where you, regardless of what the goal is that you set for yourself, and anyone watching right now, if you can just start to take steps toward it, no matter how far out that goal is, you're going to learn. You're going to grow. And I sit down, I relate it to me coming from the speaking aspect where, I already mentioned like one of the first gigs I did and people are like, oh, it's this young kid. But I sit there and if you can embrace that challenge, if you can embrace that growth moment, you start to become this next great version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I love speaking in front of people, but public speaking is one of the top fears in the entire world.
Yeah.
And so people always ask, well, how are you able to do this? To speak in front of so many people, blah, blah, blah.
It's incredible. It's incredible, Billy.
I love it.
I know.
You know?
From an outer point of view, I can just tell you, like, if I was to go back to my old self,
Yeah.
looking at something like what you're doing,
Yeah.
it's too much. It almost seems like too much.
Well, and so this is how I want to connect the point you made, where it's the focus isn't on me right now. It's like what we do and what you did, whether you realize it or not. What I want people to grasp from this is when you start to pursue that next great version of yourself, as you've done, and you face that challenge, you need to level up. And in leveling up, you change your routine, you change your patterns, you change your habits to start to become who this next great version of you is. Whether you're starting at 16, 17, whether 22, whatever age you're at right now, if you can start to change that pattern, that behavior, and come out of your shell, whether you're an introvert coming into an extrovert, or me being on stage where I needed to teach myself, I can remember sitting in front of class and just, oh, Billy, you're up, give the next speech. And I would get blush,
pale
right?
white man.
And I'd sit there and I'd be like, in that one moment, I had to catch myself and be like, this feeling, this rush, this like, that's telling me that I'm alive. Step into it or step aside. And I'm like, I'm going for it.
That's awesome.
And so right now, whether it's a call that you're doing, whether it's you just setting a goal for yourself, the gym, or you know, heck, a relationship aspect, emotional aspect, whatever growth area you're trying to grow in, set the goal for yourself, but then lean into it. And that's exactly what you did with that resilient mindset. You're not taking no for an answer. Heck, that's a sales piece.
Yeah.
Just if you get a no, you go to the yes. You keep going until you get the yes. But the resilient mindset is, in a self perspective, I'm setting the goal and I'm just going. Am I taking no for an answer? No. If the road nudges me this way, because that's a better route, I'm going to allow it to bring me that route. But I'm ultimately getting to my goal. And that's the beauty of life. And if we start to take the edge off of life, I know I'm going deeper with this. If we take the edge off of life and realize life's trying to guide you to your best self, your highest self, as they say, and you allow it to happen, and then you're just proactive as he has been in taking the steps, that progress happens quickly. Whether that's from the ages of 17 to 22, or even quicker, maybe a little bit longer for some people, but it comes with that resilient mentality.
You know, there's this other saying here, and it's win. So winning, basically, what is the idea of winning, right? And it's been simplified, and a couple people have talked about this. It's intending to do something, so intending to do something and doing it, or intending not to do something and not doing it.
Yeah.
So as simple as that. If you got to wake up tomorrow morning and you intend to wake up, and you wake up and you go to the gym, that's a win. So for me, my basic things, my basic wins in life were literally as basic as wake up early, right? And those staying true to what you want to do, that has built that confidence and that resiliency of like, I know I can do this. So why can't I do the next thing? 100%. So every year since I've made, you know, that commitment to being better or building that character, I'm getting that next level. But currently, when you're looking at it, your current situation, you're like, wow, I'm not doing that great. You look back 5 years ago, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
The jump is huge.
And I love that. I love that. And, you know, we don't, because we're in it, a lot of us step into progress and we put our head down, we just start going through life and we try and break through these walls. And then when you eventually open your eyes, if you don't take a second to step back, and we talked about that earlier, to step back and realize where you're at, you look down and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm on level 10. I started on level 1, but like, you got to enjoy the journey. You know, that's the beauty. Every experience you've had has been guiding you to who you're meant to be. And if you can accept who that person is, this character that you described, you realize that the character, in fact, is just you. And that's the beauty of it. Right?
That's, I think a big part of this conversation. I mean, the best that I could say for this conversation is, I don't know if there's video games that can show this, but literally just think yourself as like just a body. And then every time you put an ability on it, you're putting on armor, you're putting on a weapon, you're putting on this, you're putting that. And that's who you're creating, right? Through experience, through even hardships, through tough times, through good times. whatever it may be, you're becoming an actual character
Yeah.
that you thought about being.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because we all have this idea. In my head when we're talking right now, I have an idea of what I want to be.
Yep.
And that's not where I am right now.
Yeah.
But every day these little steps I'm taking are putting that second set of armor on
100%.
to get to that point.
Exactly. I love that. And that could be something as simple as, like you said, waking up early. You start to set these little tasks for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That could be listening to a video or a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and absorbing the information.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to express this to people so often, and you are an example of this, where you have a want to learn
Mm-hmm.
because you know learning is helping you become this person you want to become, the person
Mm-hmm.
you're meant to be. And so nowadays we distract ourselves with everything, whether that's video games, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
whether in I play video games, I need a
I
break.
played some yesterday.
Right? And so it's like we need distractions in life, but
Mm-hmm.
far too often, and now more than ever in society, we have allowed our distractions to take over our life. So we're no
Mm-hmm.
longer putting the effort in. But if you substitute, say, an hour of video games
Mm-hmm.
to an hour podcast,
Oh my gosh.
and you absorb or you read for an hour,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much skills, talents, traits, or everything that can help us grow into who we're meant to be
Mm-hmm.
that we don't touch anymore. And that's why I say it to you, and I keep mentioning you, 22 is it's such a great age to pursue goals and whatnot. Not that any other age isn't.
But you're like an engine. You're throwing
You're
coal
going
into the fire,
100%.
man. At this age, like you have that energy. You
Right.
have that. Just like how your body works.
Yep.
At that age, you're just going.
Yeah.
You can go.
Right?
Go,
And
go.
if you direct that energy into the right direction. So for young people listening right now,
Yeah.
use your time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Use your energy wisely. If you can direct it into the right place that you want to be in life, it's going to happen. And you could be an older person listening to this right now. Time's not up. The clock continues to tick.
Mm-hmm.
Use your time wisely. Start to direct it in where you want to be. Put the distraction down even for a moment, but then start to take steps to what you want. Even if it's one step a day, heck, that's so much better than making an excuse. Make the effort, don't make the excuse. I was talking to him about that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And if you start to put the effort in, even if it's a small effort, you are that much closer. But don't distract yourself or make the excuse where it's like, not today. You have the time. Let's use it.
I think when it comes to this discipline-wise,
Yep.
like we're talking about, you get distracted, video games,
Yep.
whatever it may be. If it's so difficult to get yourself to be on the right path,
Right.
this might sound crazy to people. Some people don't like this idea. I've done it for myself. Cold turkey in terms of throw out the TV. Get rid of the TV.
I did that. Yeah.
Get rid of the
Yeah,
TV.
exactly.
Throw out the Xbox. Throw out anything that's going to distract me.
Yep.
Even to the point, my beginning stages of entrepreneur, I can remember to this day, I was so not thrilled with my performance. It got so strict to the point I slept on an air mattress
Okay.
for like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
With one blanket and one pillow from Walmart.
Okay.
For 6 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have a dresser. I had no furniture.
Yeah.
It was like I was almost punishing myself. Because I'm thinking, until I do good, once I've actually done some sort of action,
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't deserve to be playing video games or hanging out or doing this.
Right.
There comes a point where you're built this discipline
Yeah.
and you naturally are doing things. Fine,
Yep.
gift yourself.
Yep.
But up until that point, if you need to go cold turkey, do it. If that's what
Yeah.
you need to do, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there are those moments in life where life is going to knock you down. It's going to break into your foundations to ground level, as we talked earlier. But when you can dedicate yourself to something more, and that's what I hold so dearly to myself, is I need to dedicate myself to becoming someone better than I was when I was in my pain. So just like you did, I remember I knew the TV was going to be a distraction. So rather than sitting there every night, turn the TV on, I got rid of the TV and I stocked up on books. And every single time I felt myself go to, we'll say, a painful mindset, depression, anger, anxiety, whatever it might be regarding the pains I was going through. Every time I felt that on, I had to build a routine. I'm going to run to a book.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run to a movie to distract myself for a moment. And so I got rid of the TV and I started reading. And that just poured all this information into me. And to want to better myself, to want to help people. And the more I started to read, the more I started to build myself up like that. It created the new foundation of I can stand on these pillars that have built me. But I completely agree with you, the cold turkey aspect.
I think it's the best for me. It was a 90-day blitz.
Okay.
2018, 2017, I remember.
Yep.
I just moved out to California at that point.
Yep.
And literally, I can tell you nothing in that apartment.
Yeah.
To this day, I can remember it exactly how it was. I had the bare minimum, just enough for me to be comfortable enough to sleep, but not comfortable enough to wake up past 5 a.m. Like literally, like you were just like, I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of this apartment immediately.
Yeah.
So up and out, quick, easy.
Yeah.
To this day, I actually have no TV in my apartment.
Yeah. Wow.
Nothing. Not where I stay.
Yeah.
You know, I stay in a couple locations, but nothing to this day because it being so easily, it's like instant gratification all the time.
It's true.
You know.
Yeah. Right.
So unless you work for it, I mean, people can, you can take it with a grain of salt. I don't mean to be so extreme, but there comes a point where you earn things, and there comes a point where you don't feed a dog a treat when he goes to the bathroom on your kitchen floor.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
You give it to him when he does something good.
It's true.
Right.
So, that's the mentality we gotta live by.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
I agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you mentioned the instant gratification aspect. I always say, and I think this has become sadly a downfall of the world, not just society, but the world, where everything's at our fingertips. So the work ethic, the want to better ourselves, the want to take the steps, we don't need to anymore. But those of us that choose to become better, that choose to set that goal, that success that you're pursuing, that dream that's on your heart to create in the world, those of us that choose to pursue it need to put the action.
Yeah.
And instant gratification does not come with that.
No.
It does not. And as much as Instagram and swipe this way, swipe that way, or whatever it might be.
It's unbelievable, man, because even like the jobs, I was thinking about jobs the other day. Like I love, when I think about it at the core, growing up, I was doing blue collar work, like in terms of like, I was manual labor all the time.
I get that.
And I love this type of work because it's more just like, that is what like that is what America, or just even an idea was based off of.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Hard work. It was always hard work. Now there's so many routes where you can kind of just, get rid of it. You can just work from home, and that's fine. We're in a different age. We all have to accept it. That's fine.
I get it.
But to neglect it and, not be willing to do it if necessary, that's the problem, I think, nowadays. If you're in a bad financial situation, or you're in a bad case of, I don't know, confusion, you just want to stay home and do nothing, like, you got to take some sort of action. If it's manual labor, more of the story is no one's too good to do anything, to not do anything.
Right.
At that point.
No, I get it. And you're right. You have to take action.
Take action.
You have
no matter what it is, no matter what circumstance you're in, you got to take action.
Right. And I think that's a moral of this entire message we want people to grasp is you have taken so much action in your life because you needed to. Whether it's when you were on the air mattress, whether it's now, you have built a habit of taking action. And if we can get more people to do that in their own lives, where the instant gratification isn't the result, gratification will be.
It's great. We love gratification.
It will be. Yeah. As you said, like the reward. Like, reward yourself when you did the work. We got to do the work. Yeah. Take the steps necessary. And, one other question I wanted to ask you in regards to that action is, you have set this example of achieving your full potential, and it's your responsibility to do so. How did that come about for you? Because you've mentioned tough times you've been through. We've mentioned your age. We've mentioned the upbringing, the culture, the blue-collar aspect, the manual labor aspect. But you're pursuing this full potential on a daily basis. It's your responsibility, your core. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think it started, like I had said before, 17 years old. And I'll get into it a little bit. 17 years old. I went through years of school, and I'm thinking to myself, looking through social media, everyone's getting accepted into college and going somewhere after. And I'm thinking, oh shoot, man, what am I going to do next year? Everyone's going to school. I didn't, I don't know if I'm joining the union. I haven't, started an apprenticeship. I don't want to do something I don't want to do. So scrolling through Instagram, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, like, what is there out there? Like, I know there's something inside. Like, I'm meant to be something.
Good for you.
Right? I'm meant to be something.
Right.
And that being said, I'd found someone, had to do with sales. I'd seen this big lifestyle of success and helping people, whatever it may be. And the whole thing started though off the base of knowing there was something more.
Yeah.
There was something more.
Good for you.
And it just, you felt like some people feel it, I think, not everyone, but I think everyone does feel it.
Everyone
might
does
be
feel it.
suppressed.
Yeah.
Everyone might feel suppressed of like, my path is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
Everyone's path is different, but I felt like my path is going to be extremely different. We're all, all thinking ourselves like we're so special, we're so different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was thinking my path is going to be totally different. I'm
Yeah.
going to do the strangest thing ever, and I know I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
I know I could just feel it internally wise.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's just going back to that whole belief of, 16, 17 years old. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was genuinely scared. It comes a little bit from a place of fear of like, I couldn't do these things.
Yeah.
I wasn't blessed with the intelligence when it came to school.
Okay.
No matter how much studying, no matter how much work I did, I just couldn't grasp it.
Yeah.
But I knew there's something else. So what is that something else?
Yeah.
And finding, my full potential is my goal. Like that is my goal.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe I'm going to be the best, burger flipper in the world.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just want to find out, what is that? What is my peak?
Yeah.
Where's my peak?
Right.
And it just started 17 years old. There's no other options,
Yeah.
and feeling different though.
That's awesome.
I
love that.
Yeah.
And I think that, there's a deeper factor with it, that feeling different.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Everyone feels that.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you call it suppressed, whether you call it like, there's something in all of us that's calling to come out. And we mentioned earlier, becoming your best self, becoming your higher self, whatever term you want to use for it, that wants to come alive. And in your story, it shows so deeply that like, you could hit rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
And it's calling out, find this, do this, and it's guiding you.
Yeah.
So in you pursuing your full potential, and it's your more responsibility to do so on a daily basis, you know that on a daily basis, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And if more people can adopt even just a fraction of that mentality, I'm not telling people to go full bore and like, yeah, I'm doing this every single day. Take your time in the process. If life has knocked you to rock bottom, life usually does that to all of us in some regards to tell you to take a step in the right direction. The right direction is leading you to your full potential and who you're meant to become in this life. And we see that in every single person in some specific way. You can feel different than everyone else. Good. You're supposed to be different than everyone else. You're supposed to be the best you. There's never going to be another you in this entire world. But if you start to take steps to become that best version, life gets so good.
I think the responsibility also comes from, or it's correlated to being selfless too.
Yeah.
So being your best self, it's really not about yourself.
It's true, 100%.
It's not about, like, at the end of the day, the most important thing, and everyone says this, is how many people you can help.
Yeah.
So if your best self is someone who can donate a bunch of money to charities and end world hunger, which, whatever, let's say world hunger, let's say getting people off drugs, or getting, kids who don't have education.
Right.
If it takes your entire life to do it, and you lose your kneecaps, you lose your feet, you lose your arms, you lose your brain, you're just going crazy, that is your full potential, in my opinion. Being selfless, but also kind of being selfish.
Yeah.
Because in a way, you're going to be seen as someone. You're important. You're helping people.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So responsibility of being your best self, because people deserve it. I think people deserve it.
I
People
agree
do
with that,
deserve it.
right? And to build on that, and just like a small idea with it is, how do you help yourself? By helping everyone else. The feeling you get from helping everyone else is a selfless act.
Yeah.
You get such a feeling back from
It's like
that.
dopamine, man.
It is.
You feel like a feeling of dopamine.
100%.
Yeah.
And so if we're ever feeling like it's never a selfish act,
No.
right? But it's a selfish feeling that comes back, and it's a self-improvement feeling that comes back. Because if I can reach out a hand and help someone else out, even if my life isn't where it's supposed to be, but I can help that person, the feeling that comes back allows me to then move forward. It's such an incredible, it's a dance. It's a dance.
Like, that's one thing. If you're ever down, and I heard this from someone else, and since then I've really taken it serious.
Yeah.
If you're down and out, your luck is just horrible.
Yeah.
Just go help one person out.
100%. Right?
And see how that makes you feel, and your world just changes.
Yeah.
It's instead of, internalizing all your pain, it just like you're just becoming, that actually is introversion.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with your own pain, like go help someone out, extrovert, help someone else's situation, and in return they're going to do the next person. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
It's very, very powerful.
Yeah, I love it. And coming back to you guys now, and all these key points that we talked about, action is a factor.
Biggest factor.
Right? And I always tell people you have your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And your thoughts are so powerful. They're going to direct your entire life. Your words are going to dictate where your thoughts go, but your actions are going to dictate where they all go. And if you're taking actions to better yourself, your thoughts naturally have to become better. If your thoughts become better, your words follow that pattern and become better, speaking about where you are, who you are, and where your life is. But it all comes back to action. So let me ask you one last question, because I know we went over so many key points right there, and I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah, I know. That's how it is. Keep on going.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
But, what's a lasting message, whether you want to sum up what we just talked about, because there's a lot of key points, but what's a lasting message you want to leave people right now, where we've talked about pursuing your full potential, becoming that great version of yourself. We've talked about the success that you have created for yourself. You didn't just find it. You created for it with the resilient mindset, with pushing through these barriers to your success. But what's something else you want to leave people with?
So this one, for some reason, especially when I got into the real estate business, I realized that when I got into the real estate business, what I was doing before that was making me get somewhere. Yeah. And I had thought about this, and the whole thing has a bad feeling to it, or society, they don't really like the idea of being the yes man. Yeah. So a lot of people say, don't be the yes man, right? It's a bad thing. Don't say yes to everyone's, wishes or whatever. I have found just taking the thought of, or actually really the idea of even thinking about something, getting rid of it and just saying yes to opportunities has been the most powerful thing for me.
I love that.
Literally, no matter what opportunity it is, I have had so many appointments, and let's just say we can take it to even business-wise, appointments where I'm like, this isn't going to lead to anything. Yep. I just say yes, I'll be there. I show up, and it turns into something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I understand the mentality of the yes man. I walk a very similar path. Yeah. Where with me, whether it's business, whether it's just a friend in general, whatever it is, a stranger, I want to, even if a conversation someone had, hey, you have a second? Of course. Yeah. Hey, can you call me tomorrow? Of course. I want to be the yes man.
It's amazing. What it can do for you, the opportunity wise, just by saying yes. Just, oh, can you make it here at this time? Yeah, no problem.
Exactly.
Can you do this? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. You never know when a door is open. Yeah. And if you say yes to it, go for it. I say that, and then I've also walked the other path where I've said yes so much I'm drained out of my mind. Yes. So there's a fine line to walk with that.
You're gonna learn it though. Yeah. You can learn it. Eventually, you'll get rid of that saying yes to things that are not good 100%. For you. Right?
Yeah, you know what's going to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah. Even if it feels uncomfortable, you don't really want to do it, but that slight bit of opportunity for me, everything, little, just even a sliver of sliver of the liver, anything you got, I'm going to say yes to.
It's awesome.
I don't care what it is. So that's my biggest thing. I'd say being the yes man for me in my life has, put me in a different stratosphere.
Yeah, sure. I completely agree. Yeah. And I love all the pieces that you brought to us right here, right now. And, I want people to be able to take at least one of these key points. And that's why I'm so glad we have Vasilis here, because how he has pursued success in his life, but more so bettering himself at a young age. I want people 16, 17, 22, whatever it is, to be able to take hold of that. But I want all of us to be able to take hold of that, because it doesn't matter what age you are, but if you start, if you set the goal to better yourself, if you set the goal to find whatever success or dream or goal you have for yourself, if you set it and you start to take action and you develop a resilient mindset where it's like, yes, I might have hit the wall today, but I'm getting through that wall tomorrow. If I can't get through the wall, I'll find my way around the wall. But resiliency helps you in life. It builds you in such a way. Get uncomfortable. If you get uncomfortable enough, you are caused to level up. The more you level up, the better you become, the better version you become. but seriously, Vasilis, you bring so much to the table. So I just
love
want
this
to
stuff.
I thank you
It's
so
great.
much for being
Yeah.
here. Like seriously.
Yeah, I think my final words is coming from, this is a little corny, but from Rocky, because we're talking about
Phenomenal.
resilience.
Always bring Rocky onto the show.
I have to talk about resiliency. It's just, at the end of the day, when your life is concluded, things are over. People are really going to measure the fact of, what's the saying? It's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Right.
That's the biggest thing for me. For everyone who, if you're going through a tough time, especially right now, there's ideas of a recession looming and things are tough for people. That line right there, measuring yourself on how much you can come back from, is number one for me. I think that's how I really look at people. When I see someone who comes back, no matter their current situation, you can be picking up cigarettes in the parking lot, but you don't know someone's past. You have no idea how far they came. So just keep coming back.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't end on anything else other than Rocky. I love the fact that you're die-hard Rocky fan. I'll always end on that. That's awesome. But on that, I'm gonna close it right there. He said it perfectly, guys. Take that and run with it. But I thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks so much, Billy.
No, I thank you for being here, brother, because I love everything you're about. I love the success that you've had at 22 years old. And I can only see that's taking you so much further. And it's that mentality, but it's these habits, these patterns you've built in yourself. So more people can adopt that in some regard. One small step every single day, whatever it looks like, put the effort in and just watch the results that come. I thank you so much for being here, brother. I really do.
Bill,
yeah,
super pleasure.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Man.
This is a blast.
Oh, we gotta have you back, man.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Guys, I thank you for tuning in. Please like this message on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button below, and share this to someone who you feel needs to hear it. Whether there's one of the key points that we talked about and someone popped in your head at that moment, to me, that is a clear-cut sign that they need this video, this message right here and right now. Please share it to them, not for us, but so they can receive the help just as much. Please share it, guys. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to once a week, because that number's going up, which means we can help more and more people, and that's our goal here. But again, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
Awesome.
Yeah,
Dude, that was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it in back bay. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on